Court, and that's in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution. And it's a trial that was basically conducted by the prosecution. The trial, if you remember, started actually on a Saturday. It started on 4th April 2021, Saturday, because the COC location, the Chief Justice was able to put together that report on that day and agree to begin the trial. So we must commend the High Court for painstakingly conducting this trial, and actually, as I said, the meticulous examination of the evidence, judgments that lasted over 3 hours, and one that I think clearly finds its way into the records of law as far as Ghana is concerned. And again, I would reiterate that initially people thought that the whole thing was child's play, after trying to block the attempt. But you saw the evidence that was led at the trial. Obvious evidence showing systematic attempts by people to organize the overthrow of the government of Ghana. It started from not only meetings, but of course, concerted efforts to put together arms and ammunition. They actually prepared arms and ammunition to that effect. For the trial, that put on trial about 10 persons, 5 of them being military officers, and now being involved, other military officers of various ranks, as well as a police officer, as well as one civilian who is part of the Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana civilian employee in the Ghana Armed Forces. The effort was quite systematic, it was very deliberate. The prosecution was able to establish clearly all the certain efforts of various persons. 6 of them were convicted. And I believe, of course, the first accused was those who have been convicted of Chairman Power, because it was actually the grand architect of the whole scheme. But for his untimely demise, clearly, I'm sure he would also have been convicted. And therefore, 7 of them would have been convicted. But today, we had 6 out of the 9 people convicted. And for me, it sends a strong signal to the nation that any attempt at all to destabilize the nation, any attempt to organize the overthrow of the constitution will not be countenanced and will be taken quite seriously. You saw how the persons involved in the scheme recruited various military officers and devised with them on means of ensuring that the president will be killed and that various other persons will also be killed, and even mapped out a clear strategy for doing that. And fortunately for the Republic, some of the military officers came out and reported to their superiors, and their superiors deliberately asked them to continue with the plan or with a view to unraveling the full scheme that they had put together. And we must thank God, and we must also pay compliments to the Defense Intelligence of the Ghana Armed Forces, because they actually monitored the people over a period of about 2 years and systematically gathered all the evidence, video recordings, audio recordings, and what have you. So, apart from commending the court for the relatively expeditious manner in which the trial has been conducted, we must also pay compliment to the Ghana Armed Forces and military command, especially the Defense Intelligence, who picked up the right signals and cleverly monitored them and indeed gathered the evidence. Otherwise, I'm sure Ghana perhaps would have been in disarray by now.
Aside the person of Dr. McPalm, the ACP Benjamin Agordzo and Colonel Gameli were the names that hit the media when this trial began. Now, these 2 people have been acquitted. I mean, what do you make of the acquittal?
I think that first and foremost, it pays, we must acknowledge the integrity of the judicial process of Ghana. It shows that the judicial process in Ghana actually works. Indeed, if you look at the judges and their examination of the evidence, it was such a meticulous study of all the evidence that has been put together by the prosecution. And I think that what we must be concerned about is that 6 citizens of the country actually have been convicted for this offense. But especially in relation to ACP Benjamin Agordzo, we saw the evidence that was led by the prosecution, how it showed himself supporting the occurrence of an Arab Spring in Ghana. And I do not understand for my life how a police officer trained properly to defend people will actually advocate for an Arab Spring in the country and would also do certain things that would suggest that he himself was actually in support of the occurrence of an Arab Spring. But of course, clearly, the defects with the prosecution case in relation to ACP Agordzo was quite evident. I mean, because he was not on the specific platform by which the accused persons were planning the overthrow of the government. But of course, the evidence that was laid relating to how he intended to disrupt the smooth running of the government by advocating an Arab Spring and all that was quite clear. It's the judgment. And I will entreat all citizens of the country to read the judgment carefully before making any unfounded comments at all. And Colonel Gamele, too, the difficulty or the challenge that we had was a failure on the part of the prosecution witness to identify him in the video. And that really was quite fundamental. But in terms of acts that really were dishonorable, acts were deplorable from the perspective of a police officer or a military officer, you can see that was established at the trial. Yes, apart from that, 5 soldiers were actually convicted of the offense of treason. And for me, that is what is matter. So it's very important that even these 5 officers of the Ghana Armed Forces, there had not been any clear evidence of their participation in such an activity and monitoring of the activities in that regard. God knows what would have happened to this country.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
So the breaking news this hour is that ACP Benjamin Agordzo and 2 others acquitted and discharged by the court. 6 others convicted. The judge, you heard the Attorney General Minister for Justice, Godfrey Adamim, updating the media after the court ruling on this matter. They were standing trial for treason and treasonable offences, but the court came to the conclusion that ACP Benjamin Agordzo and 2 others had no case to answer. And for that reason, they were acquitted and discharged by the court. 6 other individuals have been, convicted. We'll wait to hear more when we are joined by our legal affairs correspondent, Richard Kojena, who is already in court, engaging the parties on their reaction to the latest from the court. We shall be right back. Right, so Richard, if you can hear me, we heard the Attorney General update the media on the outcome of the court case that was brought against ACP Benjamin Agordzo and 10 others. The court, according to the information we have picked, acquitted and discharged ACP Agordzo and 2 others, but 6 other individuals, they've been convicted. Tell us more.
The lawyers for the accused and those that have been acquitted, Martin Coup is currently.
Richard, I'd like you to hold on there because we can listen to legal practitioner Martin Pebu.
It's active, the TAG group as an NGO to get active, and there was going to be a demonstration. Then he said, look, pass through the legal means, because he said, look, conditions are ripe in Ghana for another spring. And you see, since the time he spoke, it's gotten worse. That was before COVID hit, and you are aware that when COVID hit, about 850,000 more of our fellow Ghanaians were pushed down into below the poverty line. So now more people are hungry, more people are out of jobs. You see, unemployment is gone through the roof. So these are the things he's talking about. Lack of food, unemployment, etc., the suffering of the masses. That's all that he said. So he said, look, if you are going to demonstrate on such matters, pass through the legal channels. That's all that he said. And yet the state wove a very frivolous case, frivolous to the highest degree, around his neck. And today you see the court has exonerated him. We'll sue the state for compensation, because this case has always been frivolous against him from day one.
That means that you are considering a malicious prosecution?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll look at malicious prosecution and all the other causes of action, because this case against Dr. Agordzo has always been frivolous to the highest degree from day one. And the Attorney General knows it.
We just spoke with the Attorney General. He's indicating that even though the court agrees that they were not able to prove the charge beyond reasonable doubt, they were at least able to prove that ACP Benjamin Agordzo supported a demonstration that will result in Arab Spring, which he thinks is disappointing for a police officer of the caliber of ACP Benjamin Agordzo.
It doesn't lie in the mouth of the Attorney General to say that. It doesn't lie in his mouth. When he was in opposition as part of AFAG, he wanted to go on a demonstration. President Mills had to step in. The police stopped them. President Mills had to step in to say he has a right to demonstrate. So why won't there's a police officer. He didn't say he was going to demonstrate himself. He was just teaching, or let's say giving advice to intended demonstrators on following the law, following due process that they should apply to inform the police. You know, under the Public Order Act, you have to inform the police 5 days ahead, etc. All those things, right? Yes, so that was all that Agordzo sought to do. Yes, that was all that he sought to do.
I mean, yeah. For you, Councillor Dawudu, 3 of your clients are facing a death sentence by hanging. Have you been able to have conversations with them so far? How are they feeling?
Oh yes, I think I've spoken to them. I think one of my clients has been acquitted and discharged. I believe that the evidence we have put before this court, they hadn't critically looked at some of the cross-examination and evidence, some of the loopholes. And I think that it's a process. We would definitely be going to the Supreme Court for it to also look at the evidence. We believe that some of the charges, you saw the soldiers, it was conspiracy, but they've been acquitted on the substantive charge. So these are things that we will test. We will go to the Supreme Court and see. But I believe that looking at what we have put before this court, we have done it, and we will go to the Court of Appeal. Today is really, really a sad day because, yes, because it's a sad day. If you even look, they don't even have an inventory when they arrested the people to show that the gun, the pipes they are talking about were the people who had it. So I think that they are in good spirit, and we'll see what we'll do.
Thank you very much.
So yours is, you have the only female among
So ACP Benjamin Agordzo, who is very excited that
Jehovah is your name. Jehovah is your name. Jehovah is your name. Mighty warrior, strong in battle. Jehovah is your name.
9 years after being accused, the acquittal comes in.
It is joy. We give glory to God. He alone has made it. You heard the judgment, and you saw all the rebuttals. I don't need to talk again. They knew it was falsehood, but they continued to perpetuate it and push it hard. It didn't work. God doesn't fail. Now you want to ask what action next. Don't worry. I'll talk to my lawyers, and then we will talk to the media at the appropriate time. So thank you very much.
how does it feel to be free after 5 years?
Well, I've always been free within my heart. I've always been free because I knew how it was going to end. From the beginning, I knew that is how it's going to end today. I didn't know when it was going to end, but I knew how it was going to end. It's like watching a movie, a replay with somebody. You know the end, but the person doesn't know. So you people didn't know the end. I knew the end. I was too confident.
Have you been contemplating yourself or imagining yourself back in your police uniform?
Well, I don't want to comment about that. I don't want to comment.
So that is ACP Benjamin Agordzo, who is very excited, being followed by the family. They are very excited. He is in white. Other family members are also in white. They are excited, and he says that they are going to consult their lawyers to know the next line of action to take. In fact, it's been a very, very happy moment, and exactly. So you see powder being poured on them as a sign of victory. ACP Benjamin Agordzo. So I am here with Kenneth Jesse, my colleague. We've been in court. It's been a marathon in court from one case to the other, but this seems to be the very, very tough one with a lot of people following the case. Kenneth, so you've heard the counsel for ACP Benjamin Agordzo, and then the other people that have also been convicted. What do you make of it?
The counsel for the acquitted ACP says that he's going to sue the state. I wanted to find out from you how much he's going to sue the state for, but then it appears that he and his client are going to discuss that. And then the counsel for the others who have been convicted say that they will send the case to the Supreme Court for possible redress to see whether they can possibly win an appeal of sort. You know, they've been sentenced to death by hanging. I mean, that is the outcome for, trying to, plot a coup in Ghana. So overall, it's been a very long day. We've been here for so many hours. And finally, after so many years, judgment has been passed. Although those who have been convicted are not happy with the sentence, obviously. And then they've mentioned that they are going to appeal and see how it goes. But for ACP, it's all joy with him, the family, everybody. They are congratulating him that, he's fought a good battle. And
okay, so for now, what we can say is that those that have been convicted, they've been convicted by hanging, and so it's been set right by the lawyers that are here. And you saw earlier in our shot in the interview we had with ACP Benjamin Agordzo that so in your shot is a bus that is carrying the convicted people that have been convicted now. So the vehicle will drive them off. The vehicle is driving them off from the court premises here, and they have been convicted by hanging, and that is the fate that lies on their head. And it should be really a difficult moment for them, because the prosecution actually proved 8 cases in court that these people were involved and they were planning to plot a coup, and that is really a treasonable offense. Right. So Kenneth,
Richard, you have been in court for a while now. When they say they have been convicted by hanging, does it mean that they are indeed going to be hanged?
Well, so now there have been some amendment, but we are not really clear whether they are actually going to be hanged. We had conversations about the death penalty that has been struck out and all of that. So when they say hanging, we need to get further and better particulars about this one, whether actually they are going to be hanged. And so that is really the situation now.
So as you can see in your shot now, that's the bus that is taking them away, the convicted people who are being taken away by the police. Heavy security presence here. Heavy security presence here. They are being whisked away, and that's the police armored vehicle as well.
But one thing that is also prominent in this is that those that have been convicted, their lawyers are saying that the matter is not going to be to end here. They are taking the case up to the Supreme Court, the Apex Court, for interpretation and for an appeal before the Supreme Court. But the 3 others who were acquitted and discharged, the court, their lawyers have indicated that they are going to sue for malicious prosecution and for compensation, because they knew that what they were doing was not right and they went ahead to do what they did. Right. And so that is what has been happening here. In fact, at this very moment, usually this place would have been very quiet, but the fact that the judgment delivery has traveled well over 4 hours, and the courts are even closing, but the judgment was being delivered. It tells you how important, it tells you how crucial this matter is, and for everybody to wait like this, for people to be in here, their family members and the other well-wishers, sympathizers and all of that, they came. Some came disappointed because their people have been convicted, but there are others, you saw the powder being poured on them, and it indicates that they are victorious in the move. And you heard ACP Benjamin Agordzo indicating that right from the outset, he knew that he was free, and he couldn't have been freer, because all along he knew in his heart that whatever charges that were trumped against him, these were frivolous charges, vexatious charges, and he was going to go free. And so today is just a vindication of what he has believed in, and actually the judge has really vindicated his position.
Richard, this appears to be an unprecedented judgment, but in the Fourth Republic, have we ever seen a case like this where people have been convicted of trying to oust a government and then being sentenced by hanging?
Well, so if I can cast my mind back, I've been going through, but this seemed to stand out. Yes, there have been people that have been charged with those offenses, but for this one, that it's come before the court, and the court has gone through the trial proceedings and then has actually convicted them by hanging. It's one of a kind that I am seeing.
Right. Okay. So these are live scenes happening at the law court complex in Accra, where the alleged coup plotters, we have had 3 of them acquitted and discharged, and 6 of them have been sentenced to death by hanging. And those who have been sentenced to death by hanging, their lawyers say they're going to appeal the case and possibly try to see if the sentencing can be reversed. But for the police officer and the 2 others who have been discharged, it's all joy for them, and they also intend suing the state. And so we have here the brother of the police officer who was acquitted.
He looks very much like him.
Yes, I remember seeing you earlier and asking you if that is you. I mean, your brother has been acquitted and discharged. How does it feel?
Very great. We knew from day one that this is how it was going to end. Only that we don't know the particular day that it will end. But we knew, because the state has no case to prove. Nothing to prove. You heard the judges today. There was nothing to prove. So we are glad, and we give all the praise to God.
Right. I mean, in the family, were there a bit of some scare that possibly he could have, this verdict could have gone other way?
We knew our brother. He wasn't only a brother. He is a friend, a father, and everything to us. We knew him, and we know him, we continue to know him. And we knew that the family has no doubt about his involvement. The family knew that he wasn't part of it, and that it was a frame-up.
Right. And how does the family feel about this judgment that has been delivered today?
The family is very great, very good, grateful to God, and we look forward to the future after talking to our lawyer and the necessary steps we'll take.
Are you going to have any party? I mean, any victory party?
Oh, we'll communicate that to you, if there will be.
All right, thank you. That's on the lighter note. Thank you very much. Right, Richard, you wanted to say something.
So, Kenneth, you see how excited the brother is. The entire family, they are very, very happy. The fact that a family member, a relative, a father, a breadwinner in the family is now free. In fact, that is not to say that he wasn't free, but now he's totally free. That is what it means when you say someone has been acquitted and discharged. In fact, he cannot be brought, this case cannot be brought before him, and then he would be charged again. And so that is what it really means. But it's really refreshing to see a lot of people that came here to lend their support to family members. It is not all of them that are excited, though. There are some that are going home depressed, unhappy, dissatisfied with how the situation turned out, because you know that apart from the 3 that were convicted, the 3 that were acquitted and discharged, there are 6 others that have also been convicted. And you saw earlier in our shots that the vehicle drove slowly through the gates of the court complex, and they are being whisked away. As to whether they are actually going to be hanged by the state, that is what we need to seek further and better particulars about this very thing. And so it's been great.
One of our colleagues asked him whether he's going to go back to the police force, and he said it's something that he's going to think about.
It is too early in the day for him to be answering such questions, and I think that he was quick about that, saying that, well, he will consult his lawyers, but it is too early. He wouldn't want to comment about that. And I think that he was right, because at the spur of the moment, when you are in some kind of ecstasy, a lot of things, so if he doesn't take care, he might be overtaken by events, emotions, allegations and other things in order to spew words that may also land him in trouble. And so I feel that he was right, very right within his rights.
Right. We haven't cited the two others who were acquitted and discharged alongside him. He's the only person that we've cited here. But that's the good news that's coming out, that ACP Agordzo and two others have been acquitted and discharged of alleged coup to oust the government. So you can see him in your shot now, and this is the court complex here in Accra, where there are mixed emotions. Those that are happy because their family members, their friends, their relatives have been acquitted and discharged, and then there are those that are also not happy because their family members have been convicted and sentenced to death by hanging.
So you have been watching live pictures from the court complex where a decision has been made by the court regarding the charge of treason that was leveled against some 10 individuals, including Dr. Benjamin, ACP Dr. Benjamin Agordzo, and of course 8 others. Now let me run by you the decision of the court. Now this particular matter, the charges dates back to April 24, 2021. Involved Dr. Frederick Yao Mark-Pam, the late Chief Executive Officer of the Citadel Hospital, ACP Dr. Agordzo, and 8 others. The accused faced various charges, including conspiracy to high treason, abetment to high treason, and high treason. Among the accused were Dr. Mark-Pam, Dunya Kafui Elias, Exor Bright, Alan Debra Ofosu, Johannes Zekpe, Warrant Officer Class 2, Esther Son Dokuwin, Corporal Said Abubakar, Lance Corporal Alice Solomon, and Corporal Sylvester Akapewam. Now, the decision of the court acquitted and discharged Dr. Benjamin Agordzo and 2 others. Now, what we are waiting to hear is to establish the identities of the 6 other people who have been sentenced to death by hanging. That is the decision of the court. And earlier, you heard the defense team led by Martin Pebu and, of course, Victor Kojoga Adawudu indicates that they will appeal against the decision of the court to sentence the 6 other individuals to death by hanging. And in the few minutes to come, we will establish the identity of the 6 individuals who have been sentenced to death by hanging, and of course, the other persons, together with ACP Benjamin Agordzo, who have been acquitted and discharged. Let me wrap the